Hello world, it's Dave. It's been a good day, so I figured what's more appropriate than making a video on a good day. So the theme is culture shock. What shocked me now? You'd think I'd run out of things by this point. Things that I love today. As I say, today was good. So when I go to school, this is kind of like back to school culture shock because I've just started again. I was doing speech coaching. That's all done now. And I'm back to school. And in the first week, pardon my eating. In the first week, it's a whole bunch of preparations for their sports day that they're going to have, this big sports festival that I think all the schools pretty much do at the beginning of it. And so they're getting ready for that sort of stuff. The days are a little shorter. It's kind of nice. But I immediately walked into my first day of class and had forgotten this was a shock that didn't really set in before. I just realize it now as I go back after the summer holiday. And waiting on my desk for me is a delicious chilled green tea. Now, this is a great culture shock. I'm sure in other jobs that it exists that you're going to have this for you, that you come in and your secretary or something else makes this for you. But in my lifetime, when I've come into work, nobody makes me my favorite drinks when I come in for work. So when I come in and I see that they've made me a delicious tea appropriate for the weather, I just love that. And that's a big thing in Japan, is that every morning, at least at the schools I go to, I think it's pretty universal, there's a woman who makes you a delicious drink in the morning, has it waiting for you for when you come in. That's awesome. Second to this, I remembered when I went in today, very easily because it was happening as I went in, that they play wonderful classical music at the beginning of the day and the first like 20 minutes that people are coming into the school and settling in to start the day. It's not officially started yet, but there's this beautiful classical music playing. I love that too. It really, you kind of ease into your day, you know, as much as I'm up a little earlier than I usually would be. I've got this beautiful classical music. I've got this nice cup of tea that's chilled to perfection as I sit down. It's lovely. It's absolutely lovely. So I really, really enjoy it. This is a good thing. These are good shocks to enjoy in this job. Um, Next to this is something I've noticed. I got a couple things today. I was just overwhelmed, all the shock hitting me. Something I should have talked about before in my other videos was the school lunch. It shocks me that I am able to get a school lunch every day at the school and it's got about 800, 900 calories in it. And it costs you about $2.50 a day if you want to have the school lunch. And it's incredibly healthy. It's got healthy protein in it. You've got some good carbs. You got a little bit of rice. You get vegetables mixed in with it, a little thing of milk, and maybe a little piece of fruit as well. And it just begs the question, when you so often hear, or at least in Canada, you hear the excuse, in public schools and stuff, that they can never do something like that because of the cost. Well, when I think of the cost, at $2.50 a day, even those at the poverty line can afford $2.50 a day. I mean, maybe you got a big family or something, but this is at a public school, in a school that doesn't have, I don't know, call it like real fancy facilities. Like this isn't a rich school that I'm working at. They've got things that the kids need, basic needs are fulfilled, but you're not in some Ivy League school or something like that. So it begs the question, why do kids get served crap whenever there's a cafeteria in Canada? And for the most part, not that I ever minded it, but my family made our own lunch, which is okay. I'm just so amazed that the lunch is of the quality that it is here without this huge cost attached to it. How do they do that? So maybe I could do a little more research to understand, but it definitely begged the question, in one of the most populous countries in the entire world, they're able to feed their whole public school system this incredibly healthy lunch, which also leads me to understand or like kind of speculate as to why there's a couple interesting health facts about Japan, one of which most people know, and that's the Japanese have some of the longest lives of anyone on the planet. And I can pinpoint right here, man, like the amount of delicious, good, healthy, balanced food that they get soon as they start going to school, this would impact a child's growth. And you get it right early on. All the vegetables, all the good type of carbs. It's a great thing for a child's growth. Um, Again, not saying that parents shouldn't be responsible for this in other countries. It's just incredible to see when you put it up to a public institution that they just don't, pardon the expression, shit the bed and do a horrible job of it. You know, they're doing a great job for these kids. They're getting great food, and there's all sorts of social details in here as well, where the kids all serve each other. You know, nobody's serving the kids. The kids go and get the food that's been, like, for the most part pre-prepared, that it just needs to be portioned out. But the kids go and get it, and then they portion it out for each other. So they're learning sharing, and they're learning, working with each other. This is big in Japan. And I'm really impressed by that. I can see it has a positive impact very clearly and obviously. So school lunch, what a great thing that they do over here. A last detail as to the school stuff would be that they clean the school. This is something a lot of people find out about. I knew a little bit before I came over. I hadn't put it in a video, but then I thought, I bet a lot of people don't know this. I bet a lot of people don't realize that in the Japanese public school system, they don't have janitors. They do have this kind of one woman, like I've talked about, who will look after a few things for you, like make the tea for you in the morning. She's kind of like a mom. She's just this wonderful woman who, like, does a few extra things, cleans a little bit extra, isn't there for the whole day, but it is the kids who clean the school, every square inch of it, and they're quite proud of wherever they've cleaned, and they don't want you to mess it up. And so you can see another personal investment in the school just not being destroyed because the kids have such active participation in making it a nicer place. And so I think that's really, really good. And you don't end up with this unnecessary role, kind of. I mean, I'm not saying, I guess it sucks for the guy who loses his job, but I'm just saying you don't really need a janitor if you get all the kids to clean the school and all the kids do a good job, appreciate their school more, and all these other benefits that go along with it. Maybe the money you save on a custodian, you can put into their school lunch, huh? I guess maybe that's how it happens. I don't know. So that's really cool. And now I have a final detail, something that I find fascinating, something of a culture shock detail that is not separate or not within the school. And it's going to be one about the Japanese people, two about their language. So I'm learning a bit more Japanese. I'm getting into things. I'm understanding a little bit more. And I really, really appreciate that. Okay, so in English, here's the example. When you say, "This is my friend," or you say, "This is an apple," it's easy for you because it's interchangeable that you get to use the word "this" in both cases. And in Japanese, they have two words for "this" depending on the nature of the object being described. One, if you want to say "this," is kore, and if you want to say, another way of saying "this" is kochira, or ra. I'm not good at the LR sound yet. Kochira. And kochira is used if you want to say "my friend," and kore if you want to refer to something that's inanimate. And it's quite rude if you were to refer to someone as "kore wa watashi no tomodachi," which means "this is my friend," but it's an inanimate object. It's a fun way to make fun of people, but it'd be considered very rude. And so to me, this is just interesting in a culture shock sense because it displays a particular appreciation for what is living. I think that's a really interesting thing. And they don't just limit this to humans, it's anything that is actually living that you would use this other word to describe what you're talking about. So I think that's culturally fascinating, interesting detail in their language. For a language that I have to say is, as you learn it, you realize it's pretty clear cut. Like, these people don't, not like English where you have everybody putting in their 2 cents and we got this big amalgamation of every goddamn language on the planet coming together, so it's confusing as hell. Theirs is straight to the point, but then you really do see some of the underlying values of the people as a whole, which is wonderful. So that's really cool. And a final note, and I know that the big topic often, you see on YouTube and stuff, is racism in Japan and how foreigners are treated and stuff. And maybe it's my experience because that's all I have to go on. Maybe it's because I live in the country. But oh my God, are the Japanese kind people. Just for example, I have this one. I have to talk about her. It's been too lovely, too wonderful to know her. It's this woman who is my um, Japanese teacher. She comes over once a week. I paid $10 for like 6 months. And a lot of people have said to me, "Oh, well, she wants to get you in bed," something stupid like that. And she's an older woman who is married. Has no interest in that, so it's not some stupid thing like that. I've even invited her out to dinner because she gave me like 3 lessons a week during the summer because I was like, I have to say thank you. You're not charging me anymore. You're giving me triple your time. And on top of this, every time this woman comes over, she brings a gift. She brings a freaking gift every time, almost with it. I think she's missed maybe 3 times, and I'm getting pissed. No, I kid. But there's been like 3 times in over 3 months of her, 2 months, I guess, of her coming to teach me at my place. She comes to my place to teach me and brings a gift. And even this little snack that I'm eating, she went to Tokyo. She brought me back yakitori. She brought me back meat on a stick. I'm quite partial to meat on a stick. Don't take that the wrong way. I love it. She brought me dried nuts. Love nuts. Don't take that the wrong way. And she brought me some olive oil. And as I say, gifts every single time she comes to visit me. It's insane. And I know that there are just kind people around the world. You couldn't say that it's just maybe a particular ethnicity that is like that. But I am absolutely shocked, so I'll still give my nod to the culture as a whole, that someone could be so kind. I cost her money for her to teach me. She comes here and she gives me gifts and she teaches me Japanese and won't accept more money for it. And when I request extra lessons, just gives me extra lessons. I don't understand how someone is so kind. It's amazing and culturally shocking, a wonderful thing, especially like I say, when you see a lot of negative stuff about the treatment of foreigners and, oh, you're just another English teacher in our country, a disease. And I am not treated that way in the slightest. I have been treated very well by these people. And like I say, it's only my experience, but that's all I got. So I'm really impressed. It's been a good start to the school year, if only the first day. I know tomorrow I'm going to post a video crying and how I hate Japan, but that's okay. Ups and downs. That's how it goes. All right, well, if you like this, think about subscribing to it sometime, huh? Or whatever, just check out the videos. I appreciate it. I'm going to recommend a song. It's going to be Listen, Listen, Listen by Winter Sleep. It's a beautiful song. For those of you in love, it'll be a good song to listen to. In the Japanese word of the day for culture shock, it's going to be, what's a good word? I'm going to cheat. I'm just going to grab a vocab sheet for you. Oh, let's just do total. I can remember that off the top of my head. Zenbude. So Zenbude means in its entirety, the whole thing, all of. So the song's down in the link. The word's going to be down in the link for the spelling. Like, subscribe, all that garbage. My contact as well if you want to drop me a line or something. And as I say, until we meet again next time, world, thanks for chilling and tripping with Dave. Ciao for now.